Let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange Apollo. Bingo bottle. Never stop it. To the beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes. Flossing on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world.
What's up, everybody? This is Ted Karras for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy Hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Yes, sir. We will get right into it. We are joined once again by, got to be our favorite guest. I mean, at this point, former Bengals offensive coordinator, former head coach. I mean, this guy is just the man. Jay, how you doing today?
Doing great, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're in a great mood. After that Thursday night game, we're in a great mood.
Nobody's wearing a Flacco jersey today? What's going on?
Yeah.
Greg is.
Greg is.
Very good.
And I'm still celebrating my victory Monday.
That was a big win.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Coach, I'll just kick right off to it. Say if you're working for the Cleveland Browns or whatever, and they're like, oh, we're going to trade Joe Flacco to our division rival. What do you say to the Cleveland Browns? Pretty much right now.
Yeah, what's wrong with him? Has he got a blown out knee? Is he sick? Has he got COVID? Something's got to be wrong with him. I'm surprised Mr. Brown took the phone call from the Cleveland Browns. I know how much. I'm surprised. Yeah, I know how much he likes to beat Cleveland Browns. That's one of his. When I was there, anyway, as he'd come in before we played Cleveland. Hey, coaches, I really want this one. I really want this one. So, very shocking move to me. It doesn't happen very often when you trade in division rivalries like that. I would never do it personally. I can't see myself trading a guy to the Cowboys when I was with the Redskins. I mean, the risk is not worth the reward. You don't want to risk a player coming back to kick your ass that you had on your team from a division. But it worked out for both teams. They got a little swap involved, and I think Cleveland, Flacco's such a good guy. They probably want him to prolong his career, knowing he doesn't have much time left, and Cincinnati is probably the only team that could do that for him.
Now, what are your thoughts from the Thursday game with Joe Flacco? And then obviously this guy's 40 years old. He's been around forever, but I don't think fans should expect that performance. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, that's tough to do any week, let alone at his age. And I know he's been around, got some good receivers, but you think he can give up this level of play, Coach?
I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to go from one team to another, learn a whole new set of terminology, plays, cadence, get to know your teammates, protection calls in 10 days. I mean, he was only there for 10 days, I believe, or 11 days. I know he played the first game and didn't look so good. And then against Pittsburgh, he lit it up. He looked amazing. Guys were running wide open. I think Zach Taylor had his best game as a play caller, whoever was calling plays. Got Jamar Chase involved early and often, got some shots. They got their best players the ball, and they got it to them on the rhythm of the play. Not a whole lot of ad-libbing going on. Just 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. Jamar's open. On the flip side, Pittsburgh's defense, I have no idea what the hell they were doing, but good for Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. We appreciate it. We needed it. So thanks, Pittsburgh, for that game plan.
Yes, sir.
Dustin, Chop, you guys got a question?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of go off of that from the Pittsburgh game. You know, you hear a lot of Steelers fans talking about ways they should have adjusted, whatnot. I guess my counter argument to that, in terms of like the Chase perspective, and maybe even T, the Bengals did a great job of motioning him around quite a bit. And I guess maybe you can comment on just how hard it is to like truly double a receiver that's playing out of so many different positions, or as an offensive coach, like when you know your best receiver is probably going to mostly get clouded or double coverage, like what would you do to try to free him up and be able to get the best advantage matchups for them?
Yeah, you have to get him inside, motion him in different spots. You know, it's easy to double a guy if he's lined up outside the numbers all the time. You put a corner on him, get hands on him, have a safety over the top. That's easy. But when you start motion him in at number 2 or number 3 in a slot across the formation, changing passing strengths, does a corner run with them, or do they just pass it off, let the nickel take them? They might have a safety over the top, but there's a lot of room in the middle of the field for receivers to work. If you're playing man-to-man, you get them in bunches and stacks where they have to play in and out coverage. And Cincinnati did a great job of that. When you have a player like Jamar Chase, that's as smart as Jamar Chase, as athletic as Jamar, you can do that with them. And I think Zach Taylor will continue to do that as games go on. It's just a matter of how much information can Jamar handle, how much can the quarterback handle with the formations and motions, how much the rest of the team can handle. But that was a great game plan by Zach for sure.
Yeah, so going into the game, man, everybody was pretty hard on Zach Taylor, because of the 4 losses and everything. And I just wondered, like, from someone that's been inside that room in the organization, like, how hot can that seat get? Like, I've always said, like, if you want to raise your family, come to Cincinnati if you're a coach, because the coaches tend to stick here for quite a while. So I just wonder, what do you think is the temperature of Zach's seat this season right now?
I don't know with the injury to Joe Burrow. I don't know how hot it is. I know Mr. Brown's a very loyal guy and very good to his coaches. It's a great place to work if you're a football coach for sure. He gives you the opportunity to coach and coach for a long period of time if you're a good guy and you work your ass off. But I don't think it's very hot personally, and I think they're going to do good moving forward. I think their defense is getting a lot better. And if Flacco can continue to play, and they have to protect Joe. That's the most important thing. Joe can't move very much anymore, so the protection has got to be sound. And they have to continue to try to get Chase Brown involved in the running game to protect Joe even more. So, but as far as Zach's seat, I'd probably say it's medium. I think if they finish strong and maybe battle for a playoff spot without Joe Burrow, I think he'll be okay.
And is the smartest offensive coordinator that's ever worked for the Bengals. What do you think about the play calling?
I think Pittsburgh is great. I mean, there's been some games with Joe. I was like, what are they doing? They're so stagnant. And that might be Joe's preference. Joe may just want guys lined up where they're at. A lot of quarterbacks are like that. They don't like a lot of motions, a lot of shifts and all that stuff. I just want to play and I want to run it.
Right.
I'll execute it, but to have the ability to move Jamar Chase around and T. Higgins in different spots, it's very hard on the defenses. And if they could continue to do that, that'll also open up the running game. So, I was impressed with Zach and always have been, really. I just think there have been some times where their offense has been pretty stagnant and vanilla. But I think as the season goes on, he is notorious for adjusting and coming up new ways to get Jamar the ball.
Yeah. I mean, are you surprised personally, Jay, that Flacco is still playing at a high level like this? I mean, because a couple of years ago, after New York, we all kind of thought he was gone. Then he's all of a sudden out of nowhere, Cleveland needs a quarterback, and he wins comeback player of the year. And then, he bounces to Indianapolis and back to Cleveland, and then Cleveland trades him to us. Are you still surprised at the age of 40 he's playing at a high level?
No, he's got his skill set is he's a drop back passing quarterback with a very strong arm, very accurate arm. He sees the field extremely well. The negative is everything has to be pretty good around him. The protection has to be perfect. He's not going to make plays with his legs. So what you call it better be good, because Joe will execute it, but if it's covered, you're not going to get anything extra. You're not going to get the added dynamic of first down with his legs for a gain of 15, like a Josh Allen or obviously the Lamars of the world. So, but he's still a very capable quarterback, and just got to protect him and play good around him. That's what Cincinnati did against Pittsburgh.
Now, this coming Sunday, the Bengals will be going against the Jets, who look like they're struggling, don't know who's going to be quarterback. How hard is it? And I know as a coach, you're never overlooking anybody. But did you ever feel like sometimes maybe your players aren't as fired up for a team that's 0-7 or whatever the Jets are? They haven't won a game this season. And what can you do to kind of make sure you don't come in overlooking anybody? Because it is the NFL, and you cannot do that.
You're exactly right. I think from an offensive perspective, Jamar and Joe Flacco, those guys, they won't overlook the Jets. They have Sauce Gardner. They have some good players on the Jets defense. The Bengals defense, they might overlook that offense because that offense is awful right now for the Jets. But you got to really guard against that. You're exactly right. You got to make sure the players understand where we are. We're still 2 games back behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. We still have to play Baltimore twice. We still have a long way to go. We can't afford any hiccups in the road now. We got to win the games we're supposed to win and then go out and compete with the teams later on our schedule. So this is a very big game for Cincinnati. They have to strap it up. They have to play their best game, and they have to get their 4th win. If they don't get their 4th win, then they'll be back on Zach Taylor. Oh, he's on a hot seat, blah, 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 blah. Who's our quarterback going to be flat? You know what I mean? They got to keep the momentum going. They had a great game against Pittsburgh, but one game, people can sour on you really fast if you don't back that up against a team like the Jets who's 0-7.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coach, can you maybe talk about that relationship between head coach and your quarterback? You had mentioned it before, but I think kind of like we've seen with Browning a couple years ago with Flacco, it's almost like our entire offense changes, and we like to get still run the 11 personnel, but get under center more, maybe utilize multiple tight ends. And it just doesn't seem like Joe Burrow likes to do that. I actually looked at some of his stats, and he's always been traditionally on the bottom half in terms of play action passing. So it hasn't really been a strong suit of his. Like, how do you find that balance of like keeping him comfortable, but also kind of coaching him and telling him like, this might be the best thing for you for your career in terms of keeping you protected? Like, how would you go about having that conversation?
Yeah, that's tough. Some quarterbacks are set in their ways, and you have to be a salesman when you're a coach. Hey, this is the best for our team. This is the best for our tackle to get some help. Our tight end, we can double team this guy. For you to be protected, sometimes we want to be under center, have some good hard play action fakes to slow down that pass rush, for God's sakes. I'm tired of watching you getting peeled up off the turf. We have to do different things, different protections, under center, quick game, shotgun, get you outside the pocket on some bootlegs. It's not just because I want to show off my brain. I want to protect you and attack defenses in a variety of ways. So, yeah, if that's the case, Joe, you got to get yourself out of that mentality, man. You got to branch off and do some new things. But I think once he gets healthy again, I think Zach will get him going and they'll do some more of that stuff. But, the key is if Chase Brown's going and the running game's going, that opens up the play action and the bootleg game, which makes it a hell of a lot easier for the quarterback to execute at a higher level than sitting back there in a shotgun and taking 3-5 step drops all day, waiting for daggers and comebacks and all that stuff. That's how quarterbacks get hurt.
Yeah.
Will had a question here in the chat. Does Kirk Cousins' success in the league, does that make you feel vindicated in any way that you kind of knew, hey, this is a guy that can be a good quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, Andy had some great games. He's had a great career. He still played. He had, he came in the game yesterday for Carolina. Obviously, Kirk had a tough go after his Achilles injury, and they gave the job to Michael Penix. But two very good quarterbacks I was fortunate enough to coach and help along in their way. Obviously, Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell had something to do with their success as well. But vindicated, I don't ever have to feel vindicated. I feel fine with my career. I'm a little disappointed how it ended in Washington with all the injuries and some of the turmoil that we had there. But, a lot of coaches had turmoil with that owner. So I'm okay where I'm at.
That's true. I'm sure the new coaching staff is glad that Snyder is not there. But we'll stick with Washington for 1 second. Jaden Daniels, I don't know how severe the injury is. They dropped another game to Dallas. I know Chop's a resident LSU guy. He loves Jaden Daniels. My biggest concern when he was coming out was that slider frame, and now we're starting to see some injuries this year. Even going back to RG3 when he was there, that was kind of something that's always a concern. Those guys that are a little smaller, a little slighter frame, those injuries can start to pile up quick. And I even worry about that for Joe Burrow. I know he's a little bit bigger than those guys, but his frame's just kind of a slighter frame than a more muscular frame per se. So what is your worry level about Jaden Daniels for his long-term future there in Washington? Because he's a dynamic player. There's no doubting that.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned. I wasn't too concerned coming out. I know he's had a couple injuries. People say, I told you so, but this is a soft tissue one. This one is, I think it's going to be very minor setback. The sprained knee was just a twisted underneath the pile. This guy's a dynamic player. He's got a great pocket presence about him. He doesn't take too many unnecessary physical shots. He avoids contact pretty well for an athletic quarterback. And, I've been impressed with Jaden. The players around him right now are dropping like flies. His top 3 receivers are out. Zach Ertz is getting a little bit older. They're playing with a 7th-round rookie running back and another 6th-round second-year running back. So the weapons around him are dropping. He needs some people around him to help so he can hand the ball off, so he can do some play actions, get outside the pocket, not have to do it all on his own, because right now it's a one-man team, and that one man is getting worn out.
Yeah, it looked like I was having flashbacks of Robert Griffin III out there.
Yeah, no, he's not like Robert. No, he's a little bit more athletic.
I'm just like the hitting, like get hit.
More shifty, I should say.
Yeah. I'm for one not surprised that Washington's kind of taking a step back. They have like the oldest roster in the NFL. The way they went about constructing their roster was kind of interesting. But
yeah, when Coach Rivera was here, unfortunately, they missed on a lot of early draft picks, a lot of first-round draft picks. That DB, the linebacker, they missed a lot of draft picks. So, sorry, they had to go out in free agency, get some guys, and that has an impact on your team growing. You have to hit in the draft and some college free agents for you to grow in your franchise, so you don't have to go out every year and find a backup defensive tackle that's 30 years old and on his 3rd team. Unfortunately, they've got a lot of guys like that. They do have some youth on their football team, but in the next couple of years, they got to hit on some draft picks. That's for sure.
Greg, I know you had several. So
yeah. Speaking, you were talking injuries. I mean, why do you think so many injuries are happening? I believe your brother said that like teams are not allowed to practice as much as they used to because I guess the NFL thought they have a cutback on injuries. But I think his argument is that's why injuries are happening because they're not getting enough practice in, I believe is what he said. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I think these guys are in really good shape, and injuries happen in pro football. They've been happening for a very long time. The reason I'm sitting here today is because I lost my left tackle, 2 quarterbacks, my tight end, my running back, my starting linebacker, my starting corner. And it's very hard to function when you lose quality players. Your backups to your best players are not very good, unfortunately. I mean, They're okay, but they're not superstar levels. And I don't know what the answer is. I used to say, man, hell, I'm afraid to practice. So I lose one of my good players again, and we can't even play in the game. So, but there is some truth to it, I guess. You can have longer practice, I guess, but that wears people down. This is a 17-game season. I think being efficient at practice is more important than the length of practice. And I think finding out ways to do more with less time is very, very important. Do more in a classroom, do more in walkthrough. And then the physical part of it, you got to just make sure you're very selective in how you approach your practices because you got to have your best players on game day. I mean, you look around. Hell, I'm on a couple fantasy football teams, and I don't even know. I've had to go to the free agent wire. I don't even know who these guys are.
Right.
I've lost so many
I'm
guys.
with you, Coach.
I picked up some running back from the Saints, and he blew his knee out yesterday. He got hurt, so I don't even know where to go to next. So injuries are unfortunate, but when you look at the end of the year, usually the teams that stay relatively healthy are the teams that are going to be on top. Like Philadelphia last year, they didn't have many injuries at all. AJ, Devontae, their offensive line stayed intact. Jalen Hurts stayed intact. The D-line stayed intact. The secondary stayed intact. And that is very, very important part of pro football nowadays. But you can't – I don't know how to prevent them or – so it's just very difficult.
Yeah, some people talk about the playing surface with turf. Should we go back to grass? Like, I don't know. I don't have thoughts on that. I know people do the studies. Do you have any thoughts on turf, grass? If any of that seems like a problem.
The turf is terrible. Hell, I played arena football for 8 years or whatever, and I played on AstroTurf on top of an ice rink. So how do you think my body feels right now? Yeah. So I got beat up pretty good, and I played at University of Louisville, and I was on a baseball field turf with the second base cut out in the middle of the field. So, yeah, I don't think the turf benefits anybody. It's hard to stand on it. Even when you're standing up coaching, my knees would go crazy. It's horrible. It's horrible for everybody. I think everybody should be natural grass. I would prefer that anyway.
Yeah. Why don't they do that? Is it cost a lot more or something to maintain?
I think so. A lot of times, even some of the grass, I was at Washington and our field sometimes was crappy. Guys couldn't kick field goals off of it. It was tough. Guys slipping all over the place. So I don't know. You got to wear bigger cleats. It slows the game down. Some people like fast tracks, the turf, the new field turf stuff. Fast players like that. Like Micah Parsons loves a fast track. You got to come around the corner. So there's a lot of benefits to a fast track, but I think playing on regular grass, that would significantly have a decline in injuries, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, so let's say that Joe Flacco does this last game continues until Joe Burrow's ready to come back in December. But Joe Flacco's putting up about 350 yards, averaging 2 to 3 touchdowns, and we win every game, right?
Man,
Joe
what
Burrow
a world,
says,
man. That's a dream that I like right there, Chop.
Let's just say, and then Joe Burrow says, I'm ready to come back in as the coach. What do? You play the hot hand, or do you put Joe back in, or is Joe Flacco on a short leash, or what?
I say, hey, Joe, here's the clipboard. Flacco, here's the clipboard.
Here you go.
Right. Come back.
Yeah, he's the valet driver. Thanks for driving the Ferrari.
Exactly right, man. I think Joe Burrow's a special guy, man. He's tough. He's competitive. He is the franchise there at Cincinnati. Will be for a long time. Hopefully, Joe Flacco does what backups are supposed to do. When your quarterback gets hurt to start, or they come in and they perform at a high level. Marcus Mariota did that last year when Jaden Daniels missed a couple games, but there was never a doubt they were going to go back to Jaden Daniels, right? You're going to go back. You're going to go back to your superstar. Same at Baltimore. Baltimore, their quarterbacks haven't fared very well, but even if they had, they were going to go back to Lamar. I mean, that's just right. Superstars are superstars, and they're going to play.
How deep of a hole do you think you could get in? You mentioned the Ravens there and Lamar. They're 1-5 now. They had their bye week this week. He wasn't at practice today. We'll see how he does the rest of the week. But how big of a hole can you get in before it's like, hey, we just can't get out of this? Because I know they're still like betting favorites and all this stuff in the division.
Yeah, it's tough. I think 6 or 7 losses will probably win a division, I would think. 7, maybe 10-7 wins a division this year. The AFC North is pretty equal. So they're already at 5. So they got to go on a pretty good run. I mean, they really do. And it's not just Lamar they're missing. They're missing a lot of defensive people. If they get some of those guys back, then I believe they can make a run because their offensive line is pretty damn good. Their receiving core is not bad. Obviously, Andrews likely is coming back. And then Derrick Henry will get going. So if anybody can do it, I would say 95% of teams, if they start out 1-5, they have no chance. The few percentage, Kansas City, Baltimore, I think would have a chance just because of the Buffalo, because of the quarterback play.
Dustin, you got it?
Oh, go ahead, Greg.
When you coach for the Bengals, what was it like playing against? I know you were an offensive coordinator, but what was it like going up against Flacco when he was with the Ravens? Was it obviously a big heavy game plan with the Ravens when Flacco was playing? Obviously,
I was so worried about the Ravens defense. I didn't even know who the hell was on their offense. I would talk to Mike Zimmer and obviously Marvin Lewis and Paul Gunther and the guys on defense. Hey, how many are you guys looking for? I mean, can you guys hold these guys? Because I don't know how many we can score. He's like, hey, if you get 17 or 20, we'll be okay. And that makes a big difference to me as a play caller. I might be less aggressive on a 3rd and 8, putting our team in risk or young quarterback at risk of a sack, fumble, or something like that. Maybe you call a draw or a screen and punt and let the defense get the ball back for you. So fortunately, when I was there, we had a pretty good defense. Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap and Burfict and Pac-Man and all those guys. So it was very good defense. So I was able to protect Andy a little bit. But I had to worry about Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs and all those guys, man. I was just trying to get a yard, man. I was just trying to get a yard.
Right. That was no problem, right?
That was a problem.
Yeah.
Jay, these guys probably get sick of me talking about this in our group messages and our chats and even on here. And I've kind of thought this for the last couple of years, but I got the NFL Sunday ticket. I watch as many games as possible, kind of a freak like that. And just, I can be honest with you, like, I don't even feel like I'm watching pro football sometimes. Like the quality of play is really, really poor. And like, I'm watching like 13-10 games yesterday and it felt like a punt-a-thon and constant 3 and outs. Like, you looking at the game, do you share the same concern? And I know, like, is this something that trickles up into like the NFL front office there as well? Like, worrying about the quality of the game. I know that the ratings are still out of this world, so it doesn't probably align with that. But it's just like sometimes I don't feel like I'm watching professional football. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing.
I agree. There are some teams that aren't worth watching. I wouldn't pay a nickel. I don't know how people go to the games. I don't know how you go as a Jet fan to watch that offense play. I mean, they're absolutely horrific. So, yeah, there are some other teams that are struggling mightily. The Saints are struggling a little bit. The Saint Bear game was pretty bad. A lot of turnovers, just a lot of sloppy play, penalties, turnovers. It looks like the 3rd preseason game a lot of times that you're watching. Not a lot of skill. But at the end of the day, this time of year, it's always tough with the injuries, and some people play young quarterbacks and they're trying to do different things, and they have new coaches, and guys aren't really adjusted yet to the plan, and coaches don't have the right guys in there to fit what they're doing. So it's very difficult for a lot of these teams right now to put a quality product on the field. So yeah, but I'd say that probably 10 to 12 teams, I wouldn't pay a quarter to go watch.
That's quite a bit. It's like
one of them was right here in town until the Thursday night gave us some life, right?
Yeah, we had a rough 4 weeks. We had a rough 4 weeks after.
But I got a special place for my heart for Cincinnati, so I'm always full.
Right.
Yeah, and the last time we had you on was before the Jaguars. You were offense coordinator there for a year. We talked about Trevor Lawrence, and you're still like very up and down. They've kind of won some games. Their defense has created some turnovers. We're still questioning kind of their usage of Travis Hunter. But what are your thoughts? Yesterday did not go well for them against the Rams with no Puka Nacua in the London game. Your thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, and then their usage of Travis Hunter? I still think he would be a better corner and put him there full time than offense. And I know he made some plays in that second half, but it was just felt like that game was long over at that point.
Yeah, it's been Trevor's MO, really. His consistency level has been very poor his whole career. He looks great one week, and they win a couple games, and they're celebrating. And I live down there. They're celebrating in the streets in Jacksonville. Everybody's got their hats on, and then 4 weeks later, they're on a 4-game losing streak, and everybody wants to fire the coach. And usually that happens, and Trevor stays. But as for Travis Hunter, I don't know, man. I think he was a special guy coming out, man, just from an athletic standpoint. What he did at receiver at Colorado, some of the athleticism he showed and the speed that he showed, I said, man, you got to get him out there somehow. I mean, hell. I mean, touchdowns are hard to get. They're hard to score. And if you have a guy that can make some plays on the ball and win some jump balls, get some balls in the end zone, you got to try to get him out there. But you're right, as far as him being a great corner. I think for him to do good at both, I think it's going to take some time, but I think they should feature him probably more at corner right now and try to just give him a feature plays, like, a set of 15 to 20 plays that he can learn and feel comfortable with and play receiver. Kind of the way they've been doing it, I guess. It's just very hard for me because I know each week the game plan changes. You're going to have different formations and different plays in, and Travis has to be in those meetings. And defensively, I mean, you got to watch film on Devontae Adams and who you're playing in LA, or if you're playing Houston, Texas, and you got to be able to be in that meeting room as well. So I think it's difficult for him right now being a rookie, but in the second, third year, maybe he'll figure out a better formula. The coaches will, and Travis will, as far as the best utilize his skill set.
You think that? Do you think that can last? Like, has that got longevity in the NFL, playing both positions that much?
I don't know. It's never been done.
Yeah.
A couple of guys have tried it. Dion tried it. Charles, there've been a couple of guys that have tried a couple plays here and there. Hell, I want to try to get Pac-Man out there a couple of times. They wouldn't let me.
Oh man, that would have been fun, man. See, that's the stuff. Like, I would have loved to
run reverses and stuff like that. Just let me have for a screen or a reverse or something. God dang,
that awesome. Would have been exciting.
Yeah, but then I would not give the ball to AJ Green, and people say, throw the ball to AJ. But anyway, I don't know how sustainable it is because it's never been done. I think Liam Cohen, they got to really continue to try to figure out what best ways to utilize him that's best for the football team. If they're short corners one week, maybe he stays a corner. If they lose a receiver too, then maybe they feature more at wide receiver. I think depth has a lot to do with it at each position, and moving forward, I think that'll be the case.
Now, speaking of Liam Cohen and his Duval that is now famous, how did you say Duval when you were there? Will wants to know.
I didn't say it like that, that's for sure. And I never had to say it because I was just an offensive coordinator. It was a COVID year, so we weren't even allowed to talk unless we had a mask on, for God's sakes. Most miserable year of coaching ever. NFL, you got to be kidding me. I mean, they made me wear a mask on the side. I think we went over this last time on the sideline when I'm calling plays. The quarterback's like, what?
Yeah.
And the referee call a penalty and take his mask down. Holding number 45. I'm like, why is he going to take his mask off?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Burrow's rookie year.
Quarterbacks in the huddle, nobody with a mask on going, all right, red right, 25 Hank. I mean, I'm like, okay, this really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, Coach, clearly down in Miami, there's drama going on with Mike McDaniels, and you have Tua Tagovailoa kind of calling out his whole team for not showing up to player-only meetings. How do you handle that whole situation right there if you're like the Dolphins owner or general manager?
Well, if I'm the Dolphins owner or general manager, I'm the one that hired them, so I got to figure out ways to get our team back on track. I don't know if that's firing a coach mid-season and hiring your offensive line coach or whoever, their D coordinator. Maybe it is. Maybe that'll give them a spark. Fact of the matter is they got to get their offense going. They got to be tougher on both sides of the football. Their defensive line is suffering. They're not very physical. Their offensive line is not very physical. Their play calling has not been very good because their offensive line is not very good. So they got to right the ship somehow and become competitive. They can't put that product on the field again. That's one of the 10 teams I mentioned, by the way. I wouldn't pay a nickel to go watch.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right answer would be. I think the team and the city probably want to see McDaniel gone and bring somebody else in, but that's just stopgap. That's really not going to do anything. So I don't know what the answer is there. I got fired 5 games of my last season with the Redskins, and I was actually relieved. Part of me was relieved. Part of me was disappointed. I let my coaching staff down and all that stuff. I didn't get it done, and the players. But part of me was like, get me the hell out of here.
Right.
It's tough. It's a tough situation for everybody.
Yeah,
for sure. Our buddy Ryan here, Draft to the Future. What do you think the upcoming quarterback class, the college kids that could come out, and that's before they declare, if you've even watched very many of them or have opinions? And then also, how much do you care about the number of starts? Because there's some guys like Dante Moore, Ty Simpson from Alabama that don't have a ton of starts, but they look like they could be potential first-round picks.
Yeah, it's very difficult to judge these guys now. I got to get the film and start watching them. These guys have bounced around from team to team. They're making a shit ton of money. I do think the amount of starts matter.
Yeah,
it does. We had Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton started 4 years. It's very important experience that he had, and I love that. Jaden Daniels, he started, I think, 3 years at Arizona State, 2 years at LSU. That type of experience matters. You're learning new systems. You're coming up with different game plans, attack different coverages, and your mentality, your competitive nature. You're in different situations, red zone, short yarders, third down, coming from behind, playing with the lead. All that stuff just builds character and builds you as a player. And if you only have 10 or 11 starts, it's just you're a work in progress still. So, which all these guys are. But I haven't really watched any of them to really comment on who the best one is. I like Mendoza. I like him a lot. Big, strong kid. Other than that, I think they're a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, I think Mendoza is my early favorite as well as of right now. But, man, it changes every week, too. Honestly, watching these kids, who has a good game, who has a bad game. Thought Carson Beck was back. He goes out there against your Louisville Cardinals, and he
Go U of L.
Yes, sir. And, me and Dustin called that upset, by the way. So we seen it coming, but throws 4 picks, no touchdowns. It's like, oh, yeah, that blames his receiver afterwards in the press kit. It's like, all right, man. Yep, you are who we thought you were before this season. So
yeah, that's why you got to look at the full body of work. A lot of people see a guy throw a nice bomb spiral 65 yards in the air. I mean, you got to look at their full body of work. Carson struggled in his first couple of years, and now he's high horse in Miami, had a lot of success. Defense is playing good. Everybody's, oh, he's back. And then all of a sudden, welcome back to reality.
Louisville Cardinals, man. And Chris Bell Jr., I mean, just on Louisville for a second. Holy shit, that kid he's got a chance to be special with his side speed combination at wide receiver.
He does. Jeff Brom's a very good friend of mine. He does a great job of getting people in there and coaching them up. He's an NFL type coach with an NFL system, a lot of crossing routes and things of that nature. And he gets the right people the ball. And, love it. I hated they lost to Virginia, but they're back on track now.
Yeah. Have you seen the California quarterback at all? The true freshman?
I have not seen him yet. I know they just beat North Carolina, I think. And
yeah,
that's a big win. But I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he's a pleasure to watch. Just for a true freshman, the way that he can process and his accuracy and throws with timing, anticipation, it's the most impressive I think I've seen from a true freshman in a long time.
I think people will be intrigued by that kid at Nebraska too. Some of the things he does outside the pocket. He's just like Patrick Mahomes. Let's pump our brakes a little bit, but he does have a little bit of that athleticism and arm talent that he can get you out of a bad play into a really good play. He's a very exciting guy to watch too.
All right, Greg, you got another question? Then I'd like to talk about the Monday night games. We got some fun ones tonight if Jay still has time. You got some time still, Coach?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so, Coach, the Bengals defense, Shamar Stewart, he just came back. I still think he's developing. Where do you see Shamar Stewart? Do you see him getting more pressures or more sacks? Like, he was hurt the last couple of games with an ankle injury. Like, is he where you kind of expected him to be right now, or were you kind of expecting more from him from that Pittsburgh game?
I always expect more. I think the size and strength and speed that he has, I have high expectations for a guy with that body frame and skill set. I mean, why has he been underachieving in college and all that stuff? I think the defensive coaches at Cincinnati and Zach Taylor, they need to challenge this guy and get him going because he can be a force on a weekly basis. And you saw what Micah did yesterday against the Cardinals, how that can impact the football game. If they get him going like that with Trey, I mean, you got yourself a couple bookends that'll be there for a long time and pretty exciting. But he's got to do it. He's got to do it consistent basis. He looks good running out of the tunnel, but he just hasn't impressed me as far as the playmaking ability that I would expect from somebody with that type of skill set.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking about like starts and not a lot of starts. Anthony Richardson's a prime example of not a lot of starts, but man, he's got the arm, he's got the legs, he's got all this. And Will wants to know, do you think he can be fixed? Like, in the confidence, I think, is shot with that kid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Coming out of Florida, man, he was very obviously athletic and arm talent out the kazoo, but he missed a lot of easy throws. His accuracy was never very, very good. He took a lot of sacks, so I don't know, man. Sometimes these kids, they tease you, they have a couple good plays, but over the course of a 4-quarter game, they're going to have 4 or 5 mistakes, and it cost your football team the game. And you're going to say, oh, he can't do that again. And the next week, he'll throw a perfect bomb, 75 yards in the air, throw a pick and a pick and a pick, and take a sack fumble. So, yeah, I don't know, man. The jury's still out. He's another one of these guys that haven't had a lot of playing time under his belt. You just got to get more playing time, but I don't know who's going to be willing to say, okay, we're going to have you be our starter. I don't know if that risk is worth it for a franchise, even though the Jets did it with Justin Fields. So I don't know. Quarterbacks need some opportunities to play. And then when they get the opportunity, they got to play with a consistent approach, very similar to Baker and Sam Darnold, how they went through team to team and nobody gave them a chance. They finally got their opportunity and they have made the most of it. So maybe Anthony will be like that. Maybe Justin Fields will get another opportunity like Baker and Sam and, prove everybody that they can play.
Yeah, I feel like those guys all had more starts. I hate to go back to that, but it really feels like it's such a big thing. Like, and especially with NIL money now, I think these quarterbacks should stay as long as possible. If you've got 1 year of starting experience and you got eligibility, go back for another year. It just makes sense to me. It's going to be better for your long term.
Well, I think Kyle McCord and maybe even Quinn Ewers, I think they're offered multi-million-dollar contracts to go back, and they both turned it down to go in the end. I don't understand why. Wouldn't you go back to college for $3 million and play at Syracuse or Miami or Notre Dame or Texas or wherever the hell and have another?
Wasn't Manny making more than
a Lamborghini? I mean, how sweet would that be?
Yeah. Well, wasn't Rich Manning making more than Brock Purdy was at one point? I don't think he even played a snap yet in college.
I know it. Now Hurts is a backup quarterback at Miami getting bludgeoned by the Browns in the fourth quarter. He's probably saying, why the hell did I come out in the draft?
Do you think Texas would like to have him back over Arch? Arch is absolutely.
They were moving on.
They were going to move on. I think Ewers had a chance to go to Notre Dame from what I heard or somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anything on Arch? Like, he had another bad game. I thought he was getting a little bit better, and he looked really bad on Saturday.
Yeah, UK should have won that game.
Yeah, it's been a tough start for Arch, man. The expectations weren't fair to the kid just because his last name's man. I mean, these guys, he's a number 1 projected overall draft pick. He only played like 3 games for God's sakes. He went to a high school in Texas playing against little kids. I don't know if you saw any of those videos, but holy cow, the competition he was playing against was pretty rough. So now he's just got to, he's a good player. He's a tough kid. He takes a lot of shots, man. I have not been impressed with the way they call plays for him either. They drop him back and wait for 3-level throws all day. He just gets bludgeoned time and time again. So I hope they get him protected because they can lose this kid. It's not fun to play quarterback when you're picking yourself off the turf every other play. So hopefully he gets better. He's got a good skill set, but right now he's been not very good.
Yeah, and to that point, like Jack Endry's the tight end they got from Cal. He played there with Mendoza before Mendoza transferred to Indiana. That kid's really good, and he's doing hardly nothing. Like, get that tight end involved. Get the ball in his hands. Get the quick game going for and Trey Weisner, the running backs they have, they've always been good at getting the ball out quick, and they're trying to do too much and get the ball downfield too much, and it's just not working out.
I think their offensive line is not very good either. They've been getting beat up front. I mean, there hasn't been anywhere for the backs to run. They run this inside zone, and the line gets bludgeoned back in the backfield. It's a loss of 2. Then, okay, Arch, it's 2nd and 12. Let's run a dagger concept, 7-step drop. Bang! He gets knocked on his ass. Tipped interception. Boo, Arch, you stink. I'm like, damn, this kid's getting hit every play.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Texas and LSU have such poor lines coming from these blue blood universities. They haven't been able to build lines for these guys.
You lose both schools lost their entire lines to the NFL, to be fair.
Yeah.
So you got kids with no experience.
Yeah, you got to be functional at that school, though. I mean,
big college programs now, all this NIL money, man. I think you can't overlook offensive line play. I mean, and defensive line play. I mean, Texas Tech, they spend a ton on defensive linemen. They're undefeated, and I don't know what the answer is. How much? Hey Jay, you got $1 million? Go find a football team. Shit, that's tough. I don't know how.
You wouldn't get anybody for $1 million, Coach. I mean, shit, you got to have $20 million to fill your team in college at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump into some of these Monday night games. So I think 2 really good ones. First one at 7:00 on ESPN/ABC. Tampa Bay at Detroit, and we've been picking games the last couple weeks, and I've been the dominant one, by the way. 10-3 this week, 11-3 last week. Just saying. But I'm the only one picking Detroit tonight in the first game. Tampa Bay at Detroit, and Baker Mayfield I know is balling out. But Emeka Egbuka, I believe, is going to be out for a little while, and that kid was playing phenomenal. I'm a Buckeye fan, so obviously I know all about him. I went with Detroit just because I think they were going to bounce back this week. That's kind of my vibe. But, man, it's hard to count out Baker Mayfield. What are your thoughts on the game tonight?
You're exactly right. Baker is probably MVP right now. Jonathan Taylor, Baker, I don't know, but he's unbelievable. His competitiveness just rubs off on everybody, and that whole team just plays like Baker, with like their hair's on fire. So you never count them out. However, I do count them out tonight. I'm with you. I'm taking Detroit. I think Detroit defensively is getting a little healthier. Their back end's still a little bit beat up, but Jared Goff, Gibbs, and Montgomery, and St. Brown, and Jameson Williams, and Laporta. This team is operating at a high level. I don't know if Tampa has enough in the secondary to slow down what Detroit's going to do to them through the air.
Could be a shootout, right? Like it feels like it because Detroit's struggling in the secondary, especially at the corner position, similar with Tampa Bay. So this one might be first to 45 wins.
That's kind of what I thought with the Washington-Dallas game yesterday, and it was close until Jaden got hurt. But, yeah, I think you might be right just because, it's hard to get off the field. I think the strength of Tampa Bay is their blitz package and obviously the run defense with Vita Vea, but I think people have hurt them through the air from time to time, and I think that's where Detroit has the advantage. Jared Goff is still playing extremely well. But I think Todd Bowles will try to heat them up, and then whatever happens with the protection, if they get it protected and get St. Brown with some one-on-ones, it could be a long night for Tampa's defense.
And then the other game, which, I'll be asleep probably by the time that one's kicking off. I got to work in the morning, Houston at Seattle is 10 o'clock kickoff in Seattle. I went with Seattle on this game, but C.J. Stroud looks like he's playing a little better. They've got quite a few weapons, and those guys have been playing better the last few weeks. Defense is good, but it doesn't feel like it's as good as a normal defense for the Houston the last 2 or 3 seasons. So what are your thoughts on Houston at Seattle? And Sam Darnold, another guy playing really good football.
Yeah, he is. Smith and Jigba's, I think, leading the league in receptions or something crazy. Or not anymore. Jamar probably took that over. But, yeah, you're right. 2 good teams. I think Texans' offensive line play was absolutely horrific early in the season. CJ couldn't get a pass off there. They've gotten a little bit better. But I do worry about that playing out in Seattle. It's a very difficult place to play. It's very, very loud. You got to do a lot of silent snap counts and all that stuff. And Seattle's defensive line will be having their ears pinned back coming at CJ. That'll be the biggest issue. If they can protect, they can get after the corners and have some success. But I kind of do still leaning towards Houston a little bit. Nah, I'm going to take Seattle at home. It's a tough place to play.
I know. Yeah. I'm with you, Coach. I think that was where I went.
And Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold's playing pretty good. He can make some plays with his legs too. And I love the coach at Seattle. He's got a good defensive game plan all the time. They gave him some points last week in that shootout with Tampa Bay, but I think they bounce back and have a good defensive effort tonight.
The outlier stat on that, I think Seattle the last 2 or 3 years has actually been one of the worst home teams. So people are questioning, did they still have the 12th man, although they're better this year?
I was going to say, they kind of sucked the last couple of years. And this year, I feel like that's got to be different. How are they doing this year? Do we have their home and away splits for this year?
I think they lost to Tampa last week at home, right? 38-35. Wasn't that at Seattle?
That's a good question. Let me look here.
Yeah, look up Seattle's schedule because that's very important. If they're struggling this year at home, but
that was one of the best games of the year. I think that was last week. It was last week or 2 weeks ago. I believe it was last week. That was 38-35. That was a thriller.
Yeah, you're right. That was in Seattle.
It wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost to Tampa.
That was the best game of the year until the Giant Bronco game. Have you seen anything like that in your life? That was insanity.
No.
But I am leaning.
Giants blew it, man. Me and Chop had the Giants on our picks there, and it was looking good. And then, that fourth quarter just hammered us.
I feel like the Giants are one of the funnest teams to watch right now between Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. This is my analogy. I say Cam Scatterbo, he plays like they're calling the sideline and saying, "We got your family hostage. You don't score this play, we're going to kill them all." This dude is a psychopath. The way
he is. It's just really stinks for the Giants. They lost Malik. Yeah. Malik was one of my top 3 favorite receivers.
It's my nephew.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
LSU guys, the Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels. I can't root for their team because I'm a Bengal fan through and through. But those are my NFL nephews, Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but you're right about the Giants. They are exciting. They get a young core, but at the end of the day, they're 2-5. So,
Right.
I had a question about a quarterback that's catching a little flack today, and I feel like he's one of the bigger what if guys. There always seems to be an excuse for him, basically. But Justin Herbert threw some pretty bad red zone picks the last couple weeks, and it just looks like they're not protecting him very well. But it just kind of seems like he's one of the more frustrating quarterbacks throughout his career. Like you want more, and he doesn't. It just doesn't seem like he gets you there. I just kind of wondering like what your thoughts on him, if he's just ain't got that dog in him or what. Because
that's tough. I talk about Trevor being inconsistent. Herbert's got a little bit of that in him. I think he's a much better player. Right now, I think both their tackles are out, and then their third string tackle got hurt too. So they're minus a lot of linemen. Quentin Johnson, I don't know. They got Keenan. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I would love to have Justin Herbert. He's a smart kid, big kid that can run. Had a couple unfortunate turnovers in that game, but I'm with you, but I'm not with you, if that makes sense. I'm a big Herbert fan. I just,
Yeah, there's always a lot of discourse on him because it's like he leaves you wanting more, I guess.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's a tease. He's a tease.
Yeah.
He'll always keep you in the game or help you win a game, but then there's moments where you're like, come on, man. Like every time you feel real high on the kid, there's a game or a couple moments in a game that it's like, damn it, man, what are you doing?
You can say this about a lot of the quarterbacks. You take Justin Herbert off that team, they don't win a game. I mean, you can say that about a lot of guys, but I think he means the world to that football team, and they wouldn't be competing for playoff spots without him.
Well, I mean, maybe the Chiefs would trade him a quarterback so that they could win a couple games.
Yeah, right.
Interdivisional trades, those are very common now.
All right, Coach. Well, I don't have anything else for you. I appreciate you giving us almost 50 minutes. Awesome as always. You got anything you want to tell the people?
No, man. Appreciate you guys having me on, and let's get that Joe Flacco train rolling.
Yes.
Yes.
Choo choo. All right, Coach.
Baby.
You got to thank you guys for having me, boys.
Thanks, Coach. You're the best.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, always great. What a guy.
He's
Awesome.
always him.
Well, you can talk about everything, right? You can talk about everything and around the NFL, the Bengals. You can talk about it all.
He knows. I mean, he's like got his finger on the NFL, college, everything that's going on. Like anything that you threw at him, man, boom, he knew it. Like even all the draft stuff with the college. That was awesome.
But yeah, I want to take this time because he asked if I was wearing Flacco's jerseys, and I was wearing my Flacco's jersey. Proud sponsor, which is from the Chop Shop. And you know what I'm not going to have with it because it's a white jersey? Midwest Best Barbecue. I'll eat that separately. Both proud sponsors of the show. Chop, you can't because you're wearing a more darker shirt on that. But two proud sponsors of the show. If I came in Midwest Barbecue with this on, you know what that would make me? The coolest person in the entire world.
Also, you got a decent chance of getting laid walking around in that jersey. I mean, probably at least like 0.001 more % than you did without it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Fair.
Do you stuff $1 million? Do you stuff $1 million in somewhere in there for us when we buy?
You never know. I can't say. I can't say because of HIPAA laws.
Shop has. They could or could not be in one of the shirts.
There could or could not be $1 million sewed in the neck.
Yeah, and Will, you're correct. Happy birthday to Tina. She's in the chat there.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Tina.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to
you.
Yeah.
Oh, Tina, happy
birthday
to you.
And many more.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Tina.
Happy
birthday to you.
We love you, Tina.
Yeah.
She loved it.
That's true.
Yeah, you're the best. Are you guys surprised?
Greg is a pimp.
Yeah. Also, happy birthday to my cousin, too.
What's your cousin's name?
Kelly.
Yeah.
Nice. Happy birthday, Kelly.
Hey, congratulations
Happy birthday,
on
Kelly.
comments, man. Congratulations, Drew's having a boy.
Yeah, congrats, Drew.
Gender reveal.
Congrats on the sex.
That's right, man.
Yeah, my testicles never produced a boy. Two girls. That was it.
I got 5. I got 5. I had 5 daughters, so I didn't have any in me. All them boys went in my sock.
Yeah, apparently.
Man. Are you guys surprised Jay's not gotten another shot at coaching?
Well, you would think at least like a consultant role. Like, we've had Ken Zampese on here and stuff like that. And, he's been a consultant with these other teams. But maybe that's a little bit where the Bengals have coaches for so long.
Well, no, he was. So look this up. Jay was a consultant with Sean McVay for the Rams for one season after he was with the Jaguars. But, yeah, I figured he'd be let in some. But the knowledge Jay has, I mean, come on. I can't believe no team would give him a phone. That's ridiculous.
Then we have Pete Carroll just absolutely getting smothered, and he's still coaching.
Pete Carroll was alive in the 1800s.
Dude, that Raiders team is
Pete
worse.
Carroll took the Oregon Trail out west. That's how he got out there, Pete Carroll.
Yeah. And is Pete Carroll like a Dan Quinn and all his other defense coordinator merchant?
He didn't have great final years with Seattle.
Yeah. Well, Dale, I want to read.
But you know what I mean? Like the Legion of Boom, all that. Like, why he was so great.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a very it does show the power of being able to have really good coordinators in place.
Well, hey, guys, so this is a surprise here. So the Dolphins are kind of getting ready to tank soon and all that. They say keep an eye on their pass edge rushers, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Matthew Judon. Does any of those guys intrigue you at all? Or does that even
Judon, maybe?
If you think the Bengals are making a second trade, you out your goddamn mind. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, Dale, let me dream.
Yeah, I would say
you could dream, but I cannot see the Bengals making a second trade. Like that would just be insanity, honestly. I would be here for it. Obviously, I'd be excited.
Right. In your fantasy, who would you want if you could pick out of those three?
I'd go Bradley Chubb.
Yes.
Like he's the one that showed the most. I think Judon's just kind of washed at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, we thought Flacco was washed. Let's add on to
Judon and like he's probably going to be released.
Yeah.
Let's add another former Raven. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's keep this going.
Where's Kristen Wilkins? Is he still just rehabbing?
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, he's just rubbing guys in the shower. And
Hey, you're right.
making things awkward for people at the rehab facility.
True.
I would, I don't know. That'd be worth. I'm waiting for because the bye week is when you have people come in and try out, right?
Yes.
Our bye week coming up. It'll be interesting to see who we have come through the building that week for tryouts.
Didn't Pete Carroll play for the Portsmouth Lions?
I mean, he was probably the coach for the Portsmouth Lions.
He probably was
back in the 1930s. Honestly,
That's right.
Bastard.
He was and back then he was the oldest coach tendered by that team. At that point. Oh,
this motherfucker been around.
Yeah. You know what I should ask Jay was that if the coaching seat did become vacant, I wonder if the Gruden name would be tossed around at all. I mean, between the Grudens, because I feel like his brother's now cleared by the NFL, right? Like the lawsuit's over.
Who knows? I don't think Zach. I mean, we'll see, right? I want the team to keep winning. That means Zach will stay coach. That's my hope. So, I mean, we're still coming off that Steelers win. We're 3-4. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that if we lose more games. But yeah, I don't know.
You know what guarantees a win almost is if everybody goes and gets a one of these Victory Monday hats or T-shirts.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's almost a guarantee.
Watch out!
Yeah.
I got one T-shirt and I'm definitely looking forward to wear Joe Flocking Flack. I mean, I saw that, man. I'm like, Chop, I don't know what you do, but if I go into bankruptcy, it's all your fault because of these.
You and Matt Walker. Matt Walker, they just dropped a fucking dime too. Appreciate it, Matt.
Hey, every time I buy a shirt, Matt will buy a shirt. So this is that keeps working.
Bro, every time you buy a shirt, Matt buys two.
Yeah,
or three.
Much.
I'm telling you, that guy must be like an aerospace engineer.
So to go to our records for the week, I'm 10-3 so far. Greg and Dustin are 9-4. Chop is 8-5. So you guys are right behind me. Mm-hmm. You guys all picked Tampa Bay, and I picked Detroit. So we all picked Seattle. So you can't gain a game on me there. But you guys could tie. Greg and Dustin could tie with me for the week if Tampa Bay beats my Portsmouth Spartans.
I mean, by the end of the season, though, I will. most likely be the winner.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about the picks tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I wondered if you guys were feeling a little type of way when Jay went with
No.
me with the Lions.
No, I tell you what, Dale. So Dale, I did not know Ibuka was out, so that's a little concerning.
Go ahead and puss out, Greg, if you want.
I ain't doing nothing, Shop.
I picked because Baker Mayfield.
Well, I'm still pissed because I should have had the Giants pick, and they just completely shit the bed. That's the only reason it's close.
Yeah, that game was crazy. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So I didn't watch this. How did our buddy the grilled cheese sandwich do when Bryce Young got hurt?
I don't know. I mean,
That
they
game-
still won.
Yeah, I think they just had him hand off because the Jets' offense is so bad.
Right. Like, yeah, nothing to see here.
Yeah. I mean, the other notable things from yesterday for me, Chop, what's going on? Any comment?
What?
On Washington?
Oh, on
Are
Washington?
you jumping off the bandwagon?
No, I ain't. Well, I'm not on the Washington bandwagon. I'm on the Jaden Daniels bandwagon. Let's make that clear. I'm not a Washington Commanders fan. I'm a Jaden Daniels
Well,
fan.
if you're rooting for Jaden, like if
I'm
he
rooting for
plays, they're
Jaden.
gonna
I
win.
don't know what's going on there. He doesn't have anybody to throw the fucking ball to. There's nobody left. Like when Jay Gruden was on here talking about him, he's talking about he has no weapons. Like at this point, Jaden Daniels is his own weapon, and that's what they need to find out, which is sad because, like, I don't want him turning into Robert Griffin III, where he takes the entire team and he runs the ball constantly and he's getting his ass kicked constantly. So I don't know what's going on, except for the fact that he has nobody to throw the ball to. Now, the defense, I don't know, because I thought the defense looked pretty good until that last game. They sucked. They couldn't fucking stop anybody.
Dallas
They were
might
like
have the
Walmart
most.
Raiders.
Dallas might have the most fun offense in the league.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Man,
Pickens
where
and
did they
CeeDee
come
Lamb.
from, right?
Well, they got Pickens and
George
Lamb.
Pickens. Fuck George Pickens. I hate that cocksucker.
I kind of don't mind him. I like how he plays.
He's a good
I
player,
like
though.
Cowboys.
Like he went down there and he's a piece, man. Him and CeeDee Lamb, like it had me thinking, like, you know, we got Jamar and T, and yeah, I think that's the best tandem in the NFL, wide receivers. But man, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are making a fucking case. They are making a case, and Pickens is making some fucking unbelievable catches, which is what the dumb fucker could have done in Pittsburgh.
No, but it's kind of great. Like, I kind of love watching him ball out, not being with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly.
not being with Pittsburgh, yes.
No, Chops, this is the same deal with Baker with Tampa Bay. Hey, I'm glad he's not with Cleveland anymore.
I don't know if it's the same. It's a little bit different. Like the quarterback situation in Cleveland's a little bit different, but like when you throw in the aspect of Pittsburgh, you could have had this shit. Yes, but at the same time, I fucking hate George Pickens. I just hate his ass.
So
I don't know,
maybe
man.
if he was
Every time he makes a big play, I just think of Tyler Kelly being pissed, and I
Okay.
smile a little bit. You know,
You're bringing me around. I get it.
I think of the whole Cleveland Browns organization when Baker, because that was a front office malpractice, and they've been tail spinning since then. Trying to find a quarterback. They gave up on him.
now they got a big win yesterday,
They did.
but I don't put that. Miami's
Well,
just
no.
bad.
Tony, all those Cleveland sports broadcasters who were bitching and complaining about Flag, all of a sudden they're back on the train with Cleveland. You guys beat a crappy ass Dolphins team that's down to malfunction. I mean, stop it. Just stop.
Let's see over the next couple weeks. But yeah, it's hard to be like, hey, good win, and you're going to build on that when it's Miami and they're just in a tailspin. You know what I mean?
Gabriel's the next big thing. Dylan Gabriel, Judd can. I mean, stop it. Just stop.
Man, I got to tell you, Greg, what you're saying is resonating with me, with our team, because we just came off a big win, and I'm like trying not to let myself get too hyped up.
No, Chop.
know?
Like the Jets game, I am not looking at it as an easy win or anything.
I know.
Like,
Hopefully,
no.
yeah, please, God, I hope this team isn't looking past. I don't think they are because of the 4-game losing streak. I think that their mindset is different to go in there and just dominate, but please.
We're playing better ball. Our
No, we
offensive
are.
line's playing better. Like there's like some things that are pointing in the right direction where I feel confident we can go on a streak. If it was just like luck of the draw, the Steelers played really bad and we kind of thing, I think like we won that game.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel confident moving forward.
Yeah, Shop. Big difference between the Steelers and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are just, oh my God, man. And
let me ask this though, from a technical standpoint, like when you mentioned the offensive line is playing better, like isn't it easier for the offensive line to block for Joe Flacco than Joe Burrow, just because they know that Joe's going to move 1 or 2 steps to the right or left, and that's the complete mobility he has, besides his first 13-yard run since his second season in the NFL. But isn't it easier for them?
I don't even think it's that as much as how quick Flacco's getting the ball out. Like, if Burrow was getting the ball out that quick, and he has some in the past, but then he tries to extend and, he tries to look for those big plays. And Flacco's just taking the easy stuff and getting the ball out quick and being like, boom, 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 drop, boom.
Yeah.
And I think that helps the O-line more than anything else. But, yes, obviously with Joe scrambling, like, yes, your line's going to look worse. If you got to block for 5 seconds instead of 1.5 seconds.
Isn't that what happened in the 2021 season when we went to the Super Bowl, is that focus was on Joe getting the ball out quick because our offensive line was shit? Mm-hmm. And we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, you still got to block. You still got to block long enough. You still got to block enough to where passes aren't tipped. We've seen some tip passes, though, and some different things in this past game. So hopefully that doesn't become a theme that, Flacco becomes one read because he wants to get the ball out too quick. Yeah. But right now he's dealing. But it's one game. I don't think you can overlook it. You obviously cannot overlook the Jets, but specifically, our defense should not overlook anyone. Our defense has been not doing well these last couple weeks.
Yeah.
And the Steelers' offense is not that good. Their run game is not that good. Aaron Rodgers is not that good. Pat Freiermuth is not that good. Our defense, this is a week. Like, the Jets' offense is putrid. But if they come in, they get a little rhythm going, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or whoever, they're going to feel very confident on our defense, who hasn't been able to stop anybody basically all year. Once again, we thought there was some hope when the offense was so bad, but it was like, nah, I think it's just, let's see I kept saying, you can't judge it. You can't judge it yet. And I feel like with the offense playing good the last 6 quarters, I feel like if I'm judging it more toward the defense sucks again.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see. It needs to get better. You get Trey back. You didn't have Trey last week. I think there's a chance. But you need to shut this shit down early and often against the Jets, in my opinion, this coming week. And I know we'll dive more into that game Friday, but that's my initial thought on that game is like, you got to fucking shut their shit down early defensively, and then the offense, take your field goals even. The Jets have a good defense.
Yeah, when I was looking up defensive rankings, I was looking at the Bengals, and they're like 31st in like most categories. Yeah. 31st. So this defense did not improve at all from last year.
Yeah.
Is that concerning that Louis Anarumo is now going to be a head coach candidate again? Look what he's done with the Colts now. Is that a concern in your opinion?
No.
I don't have revisionist history on that. Sometimes coaches just got to go and they might have success.
No, I have a theory about that. I think that Lou learned his lesson here. I think he was teaching calculus to 3rd graders, and when he went to Indy, like, he didn't do it as technical, like as difficult or whatever, like so that the players could play, like Joseph Osai alluded to the last 5 games here last season, as he kind of like just let them play freer.
The Colts are still like last in the league in yards given up or something like that. So they're playing like the Lou, get turnovers, opportunistic. That can
then don't break.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of that. Now I think I'm hoping with this little mini bye week, like there's some tweaks that I was able to get into. We are playing a lot of young players too, so I just hope that we get better. Like, it's all hope now, but as of right now, it's like the lack of pass rush is clearly a problem. I think Zach in his press conference today said Trey is still day to day, so I don't even know if we can 100% count on him on Sunday or not. So we'll see.
Trey was really hammering to get into that game last week. So, I mean, but I felt confident that he would play. So I once again, I feel confident he's going to play. Like, Trey, That's his thing. He plays hurt. The first game of the season, maybe he's not hurt, but he plays all the time, and it's always the back. It's always like something's in my back. And then he goes out there and he gets 2 sacks.
Yeah, he should play.
Do you guys think, because like obviously we don't know, do you guys think CTB will be active for this game this week?
No.
No.
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, that's probably like he's going to have to earn it through practice, but if he's not, and the thing is, he's never been a special teams guy, and I think that's why he was down last week.
I think there's a chance that there's not a cornerback injury. This might be the last that we see of CTB this year. I think it's a strong possibility, unless there's some type of injury. Maybe he can earn his way back. But sometimes coaches, man, when they flip the page, they're ready to move forward with other guys. Like, it's hard to get back on the field.
Well, I mean, as far as that coach goes, that's Al Golden, and he said Logan Wilson's not the starter, but Logan Wilson came out on the first play, and he was out for a lot of fucking plays.
Yeah, 46% of the snaps.
46 for not being a starter. Were Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight both over 46%?
Yeah, Carter was 100%, and Knight was close to 80%.
All right.
And
So I
you're
guess
seeing
it's
a lot
not-
of 3 linebackers because they're not putting as many corners out on the field. And I kind of don't love that, to be honest. Especially like the Steelers. They were throwing the ball a lot,
Man,
But I don't know. We'll see.
If this is mental for Cam, wherever he lands, I hope he does okay, man, because I've really fallen in love with his family, from coming down to the tailgates. I've never met Cam personally. I wasn't on the show when you guys talked to him, Dale, when you guys were talking to Daryl and Courtney and he popped on.
Yeah, it was on Jeff's show.
If it's mental, I really hope that kid figures it out no matter where he lands, whether it's here or somewhere else, because I really do like that family.
Absolutely.
I just want to win. If he
Boom.
helps us win, I hope he plays. I hope he gets pick sacks. If
That would
other
be
players
nice.
help us win, then I hope other players are playing and help us win. That's all I care about,
Or
to be honest.
lot
I'm
of
just a
people
fan.
say, try him at safety, see what happens. I mean, it's not like we don't have some need at safety here if he turned out to be decent at it.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, there'll be a lot to talk about once again on Friday. Unless the Bengals make a trade, that's what Greg's looking for. We won't be back until Friday. And we'll talk about the Bengals versus Jets game, the key matchups. We'll have a better idea who's probably playing or not playing at that point, which will go a long way. And I do want to see Trey Hendrickson in there because I think he is the pass rush. But we need somebody else to step it up. And maybe Shamar Stewart didn't play a ton last week, but maybe in his second week back, he'll play more. He'll look better, and he'll get some pressure opposite of Trey if Trey is back. And the defense can, I think we're going to have to continue to make turnovers, though. And holy shit, DJ Turner looks like an all-pro type of player these last couple weeks. I want to see that continue. So let's hope for the best, right? We still got Joe Flacco. In all faith, we have Joe Flacco. But I appreciate everybody
Flacco.
Joe
And
fucking Flacco.
I appreciate Jay Gruden for joining us on this Monday. Since there was no Bengals game yesterday, it seemed like a perfect time to have him on. Talk some Bengals, talk some Flacco, talk everything around the league. A couple fun games tonight. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.